got back here on the bed? Well, I noticed when I'm sleeping, my head was forward, my feet were back here, that my feet started getting dripped on. It's like, what the heck is going on? Okay, so these thunderstorms that rode in last night were pretty big, and at one point the lightning started getting pretty fierce and the wind started picking up. So at that point I decided, and this is what's really nice about this system that I have, and abandoned the Sun Valley, the Coleman Sun Valley, and get into the 2004 Pontiac, Montana. Because I've got a bed system in here and I've got it all worked out where, you know, it's very, very comfortable. It's just as comfortable to sleep in here than it is in the Sun Valley. You always have that possibility of a limb coming down, a lightning strike. In our pop-up campers, you have basically canvas over the top of your sleeping area right there, and something like that would come right on through the canvas. So we decided to abandon ship. It was probably around midnight or so. We got to the van. Jazz jumped in the front seat, was fine, settled in just fine. Lightning doesn't bother her, thunder doesn't bother her, and that's a very good thing. So my feet started getting dripped on. So I actually got out in the rain and took the door and lifted it back up and shut it. I thought, okay, well maybe I didn't have the door shut all the way. Well, sure enough, it kept doing it. I had no idea this was happening. I wouldn't have known unless I got in here in this bad rainstorm to find out. I think that's funny how sometimes things like that work out. But here's what I think the problem is. I got to looking at it. I thought, okay, well maybe this gasket, maybe something has happened to this gasket right here, but it looks like it's in really good shape. And then I started looking how this whole system works here. What you have is you have the roof, the way the Montana's made. The rain comes off the roof and just pours right down into here. Just comes straight down and pours into there. Let me shut this a second. So you've got your rain coming down and really what I call a gully washer. Just a lot of rain coming down. Probably a couple inches per hour was coming down. And the rain comes down here and goes right down into this channel. There's no gasket to help. There's no way to stop it. It all pours down into here. Now, the way the system is made, and I've never really looked at it that closely before, but it's made that the water pours in here, drains down this channel, and then pours out the bottom. So that's pretty interesting. Actually, it's a pretty good system right there. You can't stop the water. You just have to let it go. You deflect. So what has happened is you get up in here and you start looking. So here's that channel. So the water runs down and then it's supposed to run down this channel. But right here, by both of these door hinges, it kind of gets a little bit narrow. That area right there was absolutely packed. Leaves, dirt, things that have gathered. And apparently I've never really noticed that before. I've never cleaned that up. And you can see this one here is just packed with that stuff. So the water was running down into this channel, but it was just pooling because it was dammed on one side and it was dammed on the other. Oh, well, son of a gun. That just amazes me sometimes how you just don't realize things like this are going on. So I'm pretty happy with that fix. Look at all that stuff that's in there. That's just absolutely... And I just never knew. As long as I've had the Montana now and everything I do to it, I never knew that all that junk was gathering up in there. Get that all cleaned out. And the water should flow down through there just fine. That's a lot of stuff in there. It's a lot of junk. Okay, so once I get home, I'll take a sponge and I'll get that nice and cleaned up, but that'll solve that problem. So hey, just in case you have a 2004 Pontiac Montana or 2002 to 2007, you probably have the exact same gutter system on it, and it needs to be cleaned out or it's gonna leak. I mean, this gasket, this is a nice gasket right here, but it does, I can see where it does fill up and it starts to drip over. But you know, I plan on taking care of the Pontiac Montana. Anytime anything breaks on it, I fix it. Me and this machine are going to go a long ways, because I'm going to do a lot of traveling in this machine right here. And the Pontiac Montana has taken pretty good care of me. And I always like it when something like this comes up and I'm able to share it with you. That's important to me. If you're having any trouble with Pontiac Montana, you can get on my YouTube channel and search out the category Pontiac Montana. I've fixed a lot of things on it, and some of them may be a problem that you're having. If you're interested on how I built this bed system, I've got a video on it, how to fix the power windows, the instrument cluster, all kind of videos out there. Check it out. I appreciate it. Hey, if you would, subscribe to the channel. Hammer down that subscribe button. Hit that notification button. That way, anytime something breaks on the Pontiac Montana and I fix it, you'll get notification. Hey, just in case you're having trouble with that. One of the best comments that I received on my channel with the Pontiac Montana was a guy was down in Mexico, had his Pontiac Montana with him. I guess he was pretty far down in there, went to leave, the shifter just broke. Up and down, nothing. I guess he was kind of in a hurry to get out of where he was. I don't know if the area was a bad area or if he was just way down in there and didn't want to be stranded. Happened to find my video, looked it up, figured out how to temporarily fix his shifter, and he's back out on the road. Man, he said, "Thank you very much. I was stranded and you really saved me." See, I like hearing things like that. I like to help people out. And just make sure that I always keep this nice and clean at the top, and I won't have that problem anymore. Who would have known? Whoever designed it would have known. And I bet you anything, in the owner's manual, there is a warning about keeping this clean or it will overflow. That's one thing I like about my YouTube channel and being a YouTube creator. When I go on trips like this, and say this trip right here was all about teaching young Jazz how to camp, which look at her. She's settling in pretty good yesterday. Do a certain video and take a trip and have a couple videos in mind, and then something like that door comes up. And once again, I'll spin that into a whole new video, because that's something that if you have a 2004 Pontiac Montana, you're going to have problems with that if you don't keep that clean. I didn't know it was like that. Probably a lot of people don't. This is the beautiful Hoosier National Forest right here. One thing about the Hoosier National Forest, I don't hear a lot of animals out here, but I do hear a ton of birds.